WSO Backstage, your exclusive backstage pass to the latest news and product releases in the internet marketing space.
Hello and welcome to WSO Backstage. I'm your host, Sean Kay, and today I've got with me Adam Dukes. How you going, Adam?
Good. How you doing, Sean?
Excellent. So, thanks for coming on the show. We're going to talk a little bit today about Adam and what you do, and hear from you what it is you know and what you have to share with the audience, and then we're going to talk a little bit about a new product you've got coming called Offline Overnight Authority. So, Adam, why don't you share a little bit about yourself with the listeners?
I got started originally from Michigan. Left there in 2006 because of the weather, and came out to Las Vegas. My degree is in construction management. Got a construction job out here pretty much right away. The economy went south in about 2009. I was forced to find something on my own. There was no work. So I tried to find something that I like doing. Picked up a couple books. Mr. Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week introduced me to internet marketing. I ended up finding the Warrior Forum in July of 2010, and I guess the rest is history. Really, it kind of opened up my eyes to making a living online, and that's about it. That's how I got started in kind of the whole online marketing thing.
It's interesting how many people cite the 4-Hour Work Week as their sort of rationale for getting into any kind of self-employed entrepreneurship or particularly online marketing. What was it specifically, other than the fact that working 4 hours a week sounded pretty awesome? But what else? What else about that book sort of triggered that for you?
I kind of got it was about February of that year of 2010, kind of before I even got into that. I heard about this internet marketing thing. I had saved up some money, wanted to learn, wanted to do something that I enjoyed doing. Just kind of got burned out in the construction industry, and just kind of self-taught myself web design from YouTube. Kind of dabbled in that. Started up like a sports website, a sports blog. Kind of sports, Vegas, men's topics. Started that in February of 2010. We kind of launched a podcast with a couple buddies. It was kind of like an ESPN kind of thing, just three guys sitting around talking sports. Unfortunately, them two found jobs and kind of ditched the sports show idea. And I still run that site daily, updating that just with some sports content and some just kind of weird stories around the internet. And I just was fascinated about the internet and the marketing. I've always liked marketing, and then the working at home, being your own boss, that just was real intriguing, and the low startup costs. I started my first web design SEO company probably under $50. I registered a domain, got hosting. I bought several WSOs, so it was probably over 50. But initially, I started my business with probably $50. Just investing in a couple of different things, learning how to cold call on that, and that's kind of how I got started. It wasn't fun, but yeah, I guess just being an entrepreneur and the low startup cost was real appealing to me, because I didn't have a lot of money to put into a brick and mortar building my own business outside the internet. So that was kind of what led me to the online marketing and what appealed to me.
So what did you do on construction sites? What was your role?
I was a project engineer. I worked at the Hotel City Center here on the Strip. Went through all the rooms. Worked in the Aria Hotel. It's 4,000 hotel rooms. Went in, inspected everything, making sure everything was up to MGM standards, which is a pretty tough task. Just got kind of burned out. Worked long hours. It was a salary job. I was working 7 days a week. If you broke it down, I was probably making maybe $8 an hour. Once you broke down the hours, I was putting in 80 to 90 hours a week, and just burned me out. Just didn't like working for someone else. I got a taste of entrepreneurship, and I've told everyone I'll never go back. I'll figure out something.
Yeah, I went. My background for the last sort of 10 years, I guess. Well, last 2 years I've been kind of doing this, but before that, for about 10 years, was chief technology strategist for one of the largest construction engineering and mining companies in the world, and site work is just one of the most awful jobs that exist. I was quite curious to hear if that, when you say the 80-hour week, people who don't have a lot of experience with sort of salaried construction and engineering positions really don't realize, but it is 80-hour weeks. It's you spend more time on site than you do with your family.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, they had me working all different shifts. I was working the day shift, then I'd switch to the kind of the afternoon shift, and then it would be the graveyard shift, and every couple days it would change. And my sleep schedule is just messed up. The last
I don't know about you. I had an
three
experience.
months trying to close out the project on time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I had an experience where I'm from Sydney, and our company had a large sort of $3 billion toll road we were building in Melbourne, and there was some issues on the technology side, on the tolling side, and I literally spent about 4 or 5 months traveling between Spain, Melbourne, and Sydney, and there were days where there was one week, I was telling somebody yesterday, there was one week where I did the trip between Sydney and Melbourne, which is about an hour flight. I did that flight every day, twice a day for a week there and back. And at the time, I think, you sort of think, oh, it's exciting, it's fun, but boy, oh boy, you're right. It certainly, it wears on you. There's a physical and mental toll.
Absolutely, absolutely, there is. Yep. Yeah, I just got wore out, just burned out from the whole industry, and got a 4-year degree in just under 6 years, and I'm still paying off the student loan debts, and but yeah, I wouldn't go back to it. That project just kind of wore me out, and like I said, now I got a taste of the entrepreneurship, and I don't think I'll ever work for anyone again. Or at least I'm not planning on it, unless some dream job came along. But it's nice working for yourself. I mean, there's certainly bad things. I mean, there's negatives too. It's stressful as well, self-doubt and all that. But the rewards are great.
So just want to shift gears a little bit. You mentioned you have a sports blog. Is that a profitable venture for you, or is that really kind of more of a passion project?
Yeah, actually, I haven't made a penny off of it. I've been doing it for 2 years. I post a thing. I call it Daily Dirt, with like a cute girl of the day. I pick up 5 sports stories, or five. I try to focus on sports, some pop culture stories, and then I'll pick out a tweet of the day from Twitter, something funny, maybe something sports related, usually something funny, and then I pick out a video of the day. I do that Monday through Friday first thing when I get up. I don't know. I think I did post 625 today. So yeah, I've been on it. Yeah, I haven't made a penny. I tried to do Google AdSense a few months ago, and it got kicked back because it said there was some nudity. There's no nudity on there, but I guess a few pictures were kind of close. I think it was the actress Jennifer Aniston, and she wasn't naked. It was kind of close, and so yeah, I haven't made a penny. It's basically a hobby. It's just kind of fun to do. It doesn't get a ton of traffic, maybe 15 to 18,000 unique visitors a month. So it's not huge, but and I don't even build a list with it. Actually, I tried to build a list for a month. It didn't really work, and yeah, it's just basically a hobby, really.
It's interesting how that happens. So I have very similar experience where I can teach people to monetize their traffic and turn over offers and run an extremely successful SEO and content business. But I have a sports blog. It's on hockey. And
Okay.
and I've tried it in about 3 or 4 different incarnations and just can't get it to turn over $1. And the other one we've got is a blog on computer and video games, like sort of casual gaming.
Okay.
And again, it's just another one where, despite all of our efforts, we just can't. I mean, we can get those things to make little bits of money here and there, but it's just an interesting thing. Blogging in and of itself. I know a lot of people who are bloggers, and I just don't know how they make money. I just unless you've got, unless you're Darren Rouse and you have hundreds of thousands of subscribers who hang on your every word and buy your
Yes.
products. I really struggle to see how a blogger makes money, and all these mommy bloggers, boy, oh boy, it's a struggle.
Yeah, well, that makes me feel better. I figured, man, being on the Warrior Forum for 2+ years, and I just cannot figure out how to monetize it. Makes me feel a little bit better. Maybe that's just kind of a tough,
Well,
a tough blog to monetize, or a tough topic to
yeah,
monetize. And, I knew I wasn't gonna, of course, retire off of the money. And like I said, I was gonna do Google AdSense, maybe make a couple $100. Tried it, and then I said, you know what? I'm not. I mean, I got some affiliate offers. I got like HostGator and GoDaddy. Haven't seen a thing from it. I mean, just banner traffic is. I mean, what's a point zero 0.06 is a good click through rate nowadays. Back in now, if I was doing it back in 95, 96, a 30% click through rate was about the average. But yeah, I just kind of give up on the monetization. Just kind of a hobby of mine. Takes me about 20 minutes, and a few friends follow it. It's actually mostly new traffic. It's I don't know if I'd ever be able to flip it down the road. I mean, I don't know how many. It's probably got close to 1,000 posts total with some other things. Had some friends along the way kind of write some of the stories. They kind of fell through. I'm always looking for writers that want to write about sports, men's topics, any of that stuff. People always say, "Oh yeah, I'd love to blog. I'd love to blog. I don't know how to start." And I said, "Well, you're more than welcome to kind of get started on my platform, and if you enjoy it, and I can help you set up your own." But it's one of those things, nobody ever takes the action. They say, "Oh yeah, it sounds like a great idea," but
Yeah,
nothing ever happens from it.
it's interesting. We had a very similar experience with our gaming blog, where there was a young girl we knew who she wanted to get into the industry of sort of gaming journalism here in Australia, and she wrote for us probably for about 3 or 4 months, and yeah, I ended up getting a job at a magazine.
Oh, okay.
So it sort of worked out well for her. I mean, it didn't
Yeah,
work out well.
yeah.
It didn't work out well for us when she stopped creating the content for us, but that's the way it goes. I think it's
Exactly.
one of those things. Like I look at it and I think, I could monetize this better. I really could. I could focus on it, and I could spend the time and really figure out how to make money from this. But the reality is, it's just return on investment. I think for the listeners, that's probably, a good lesson, is that I think anything is monetizable. Sports is a pretty hard one, I have to say, because so much sports information is, one, it's opinion, and two, there's
Yes.
a plethora of it. It's free, right? The opinions are like backsides. Everybody's got one. So I think the thing is that it's difficult in that niche to make money, but I think it's possible. I mean, you could probably come up with a half a dozen ways for you to do it, but for people listening at home, I think the thing is not, just be careful of what you invest your time in, because the reality is, people tell you go out and do what you love. Well, you can't eat that. It doesn't
Yeah.
pay
Yeah.
the rent. So
Yeah.
just be careful you're not throwing your time down the hole. So anyway, it's sort of a good lesson. That one drives me crazy, is do what you love. I just sort of, I like sleeping and watching television. Now I could probably blog about it, but I wouldn't make a dollar. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, anyway, so, okay. So you got into marketing from our friend Tim Ferriss, who everybody sort of, has read. Anything else or anyone else, and it could be people who create product now or whatever. Is there anyone else who you find as an inspiration?
Yes, I'm a huge, 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 huge Gary Vaynerchuk fan. He's actually I got laid off December of '09. saved up some money because we all knew it was coming because the project was coming to an end. I went back home to Michigan to visit my family for the holidays and that for about 3 weeks. Since I didn't have a job, I really didn't have to get back to Vegas anytime, and had some money that I had saved up. Went down to Florida for New Year's with a couple friends. Came home, came back to Vegas, and told myself, you know what, I had about $10,000 saved in the bank, and that I could live about 6 months off of that with some unemployment. So I figured, time to find something I like doing. But first of all, I'm going to do nothing for a long time because I've been working 7 days a week for the last 3 or 4 months. Well, about 2, 3 weeks into that, that got really, really old. So I was on Amazon looking for a book, and I typed in, I remember exactly how it happened. I typed in motivational book, sorted it by ranking, went to the first book, didn't appeal to me, went to the second book, scrolled down to the customer reviews. It was a lot of about being an entrepreneur. I didn't think I was an entrepreneur. So I went to scroll back up to hit back on Amazon, and there was a video of the author. And I said, "Oh, I love YouTube videos." So I click on the video, and it was a Gary Vaynerchuk video from 2008 that I've probably watched over 100 times since then. I advise every person to watch it. He kind of says, "Follow your passion." It was the book was Crush It, his first book. The video, I fell in love with him right then and there. I'm just a huge fan. So he really got me started into kind of doing my own thing type of thing, and then the Tim Ferriss kind of got me started with the internet marketing. And everybody on my list, my Facebook group, I've turned a lot of people on to Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm like those people with Apple that are the crazy Apple people. I'm a huge advocate for Gary Vaynerchuk, and actually he spoke 2 weeks ago here in Las Vegas, and I actually got to go see him speak. I sat front row. I actually stood up, and he did a question and answers at the end, and I didn't have any questions for him. I got to stand up and kind of thank him for everything. I told him, "Hey, I read your book 2.5 years ago. I've started 2 offline businesses, 1 online business. I just published my first book on Amazon." Him and Tim Ferriss actually are both in the acknowledgments. I thank both of them. So yeah, those two are the two big guys that kind of outside the Warrior Forum area. Warrior Forum, I've learned a lot. John Durham's the one that kind of got me started. Gave me the idea, the confidence, I guess, to start my own offline business. I never really dabbled into online marketing. I kind of went right into offline. October 2 years ago, actually, this month. So John Durham was the big one that kind of got me starting my own business. So I try to thank him as much as I can because he's definitely the reason where I'm at today.
It's interesting you mentioned Gary Vaynerchuk. Very, very similar story. I was running a business, so I knew all the mechanics of making a business successful and all that sort of thing. But I read Crush It on an airplane, and I just thought, wow, man, this is outrageous. This guy's living the dream. And so I landed in Germany. I was on a flight to Germany and ran to the hotel, and Germany's a land of super fast internet. So I'm started watching the Wine Library TV videos, and the guy just jumps off the screen. It's freakish.
Yes.
And so then I thought I gotta find out more. So I just started reading about him and stuff. And for people who don't know anything about him, he started off, his family owned a small liquor store in Jersey, I think. And
Yes.
And as a kid, he worked in the liquor store, and he wasn't allowed to taste wine and stuff, but he knew that people wanted high-end wine. They were tired of drinking Plonk, and he started learning about wine tasting even before he was allowed to drink, and he just developed this massive palate and became somewhat of an expert, and he just learned to promote things. A fascinating guy. But I had the good pleasure of in 2009, he was here at an event. And I went to the event and just somehow managed to end up going to lunch with him. And,
Oh, wow.
And listening to him talk about how he runs his back end business is utterly phenomenal. he doesn't speak as much as he used to. He sort of he's pulled out of the speaking tour. He's had a couple kids in that now, but his books are amazing, and we'll put links to them in the notes. So if anyone wants them, they can go have a look at them. But I highly recommend Crush It to anybody who is even remotely considering doing their own sort of business thing.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, highly recommend it. And yeah, actually, I send out videos to my list, YouTube videos, and a lot of my day, I use YouTube kind of as my radio. I don't know, I don't have Spotify. I don't know why. That's just I like using YouTube as my radio. And a lot of times, in the background while I'm working, I have just his speeches on, not necessarily watching them, but just listening. There's some speeches that are an hour I'll listen to 15 or 20 times because I'll pick up a gold nugget here every time, and I just like how he runs business. And I'll send out the videos to my list and say, oh, check out this video. He gives a lot of good tips out for the future of marketing. And I had sent one out a few weeks ago, and he's got some very vulgar language, and that can set people off and offend people. And I had received a few emails from some of the people on my list that were not happy with me sending out the video because of the swearing and the cussing and that, and said it's not professional. Why would I send something out? Mainly saying it wasn't professional, Gary Vaynerchuk, to speak like that, and kind of got mad at me. I'm unsubscribing. I can't believe you do something like that. So I had tweeted Gary Vaynerchuk about it. I said, hey, I had sent out a video to my list, and I got a pretty rude email from the guy. And he tweeted me back and said, send me the email. I'll apologize to him. So I forwarded the email over to Gary, and then he actually, I'm not 100% sure. He said on Twitter that he'd respond back to the guy and just apologize. And I just thought that was really cool. That's
Yeah, he's a pretty classy individual.
yes.
I think what he does very well, and I guess this is a lesson for everybody, is in an audience of millions, and he does have an audience of millions, he finds a way to personally engage with the people that he needs to. And that seems to be, a huge strength of his. So, he does video extremely well. His personality is just off the charts, but I think what he does is better than anyone else I've seen. It's like he's talking to you.
Yep.
It's a one-to-one conversation through a one-to-many platform.
Yeah, that's I never really that's a very good point. I never really thought of it like that. Yeah, it does feel like that when he's talking.
Occasionally, I come up with a pretty good idea, just once in a while, though. Okay, so just move on from Mr. Vaynerchuk. We'll put the links to his books or whatever in the notes. But so you started doing WSOs. Now, how many have you done, and what's your success rates and all that been like?
Actually, this will be my third one. I had partnered up with Ryan McKinney on my first one back in June of this year. We got WSO of the day, more so because of him, not because of me. Recruiting the affiliates, didn't realize that was such a big deal. And there's so much behind the scenes work for getting it out there, and the success of it is really the behind the scenes. Recruiting the people and then building relationships with the affiliates. That was something I did not know before the first one. Then I launched just kind of a little case study back in July. I didn't recruit any affiliates. I didn't. There's no one-time offer. It was just a $7 quick case study. I put a WSO into action immediately. I was having really, really good success with it, so I put out a case study. I did 101 sales, I think. Like I said, no affiliates really jumped on board because there was no funnel per se. And it was kind of something I just wanted to try. It was the first one I set up by myself. And then this one will be my first one going at it by myself, really, for like a full funnel, recruiting the JVs. And I actually have a lot of fun recruiting the JVs. That's something I really, really enjoy doing. And it's something that maybe considering if I have time to like kind of do like a launch manager. I'm really, really big on YouTube and videos. I'm actually doing I challenged myself to do 100 videos in 30 days in the month of October, for my offline business, not online, where I'm sharing tips, tricks, advice, not necessarily all face videos. I'm going to try to do about 70% of me on camera and then 30% kind of a Jing style video, just kind of showing business owners how to use Twitter, maybe just a real quick 60-second, nothing drawn out long, long videos. It goes back to the Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, he built a $60 million wine business with a flip cam. He didn't have no professional lighting. A lot of his videos were with his iPhone. His hand is shaking. He's getting the content out. He built a $60 million business that way. So it doesn't have to be fancy schmancy, with production and all that. It just has to be genuine. So I'm trying the YouTube video thing, and I really like doing the JV videos to some of the affiliates. I have a lot of fun doing it. Dr. Ben wrote me back I woke up Sunday morning, said, loved the video. I kind of went off the wall, and he went to Arkansas State. So I found that on Facebook. So I started out the video with the Arkansas State fight song playing in the background, and I was going, woo! I was jumping up and down saying, oh, sorry, I'm just a big fan of the Red Hawks. And I mean, he knows I'm not, but it was just to try to get him to laugh right away, and then get him to watch the rest of the video. And then I sent one to Don Wilson today, and I found a clip from Dennis the Menace, where Dennis the Menace yells at Mr. Wilson. He said, "Hey, Mr. Wilson!" And then I merged my personal video with sent it over to Don. I actually built up a website for Don and Dr. Ben with a custom Dr. Ben, please promote for.me, and then Don Wilson, please promote for.me. Just to kind of be a little bit different, I mean, I obviously can't spend a ton of money on domains. Takes a lot longer to do just a personal video than setting up not really a website. It's basically just a one-page site, but it's something different. Dr. Ben really enjoyed setting up the website. He'd said he had never saw that, so.
Well, there you go. Now you've got an asset you can use again and again, because the next time you need him to promote for something, it's just another page on the site.
Yeah, well, actually, the one for Dr. Ben I bought back in July. He did a contest actually through WSO JV Central, and he said whoever can do the best video, you can partner up with me on your next WSO or something like that. I can't remember what the contest was. So I created the website for him, and I just switched out the video just today, actually, or yesterday. I think I switched out the video. So that domain I'll be able to use that every time. In the first video, he said I would have won the contest, but he couldn't hear me. My volume was way too low. But I kind of I kind of did like a little skit. It took me about 6 hours. I hurt my back. I need a chiropractor. And it was a couple days before his event out here in Las Vegas, and I was pretending like I was talking on my phone. And what? Dr. Ben's going to be in Las Vegas in a couple days? Oh, I need my back looked at. Blah blah blah, kind of like that. And it was kind of cool because I had never met him before, and I walked into the event. And he pointed me out and knew my name, which was really cool. Of course I knew who he was, and but he pointed me out because of the video. He just couldn't hear me.
You were like the Charlie Chaplin of promotion for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So you've got the new product coming, Offline Overnight Authority. Why don't you give us a little snapshot of how you came up with it, and who it's targeted at, and why people should buy it.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I think everybody. Studies show 82% of people want to write a book. I don't know what the statistics are on people actually following through, but it's probably not many. And it's always been on my bucket list. I created a bucket list on MySpace. I've always had a bucket list, but I created one online, an accountability one back in, 2005, and I still refer to it on MySpace. I still pull it up and just kind of see where I was thinking 6-7 years ago. But writing a book has always been a goal of mine, and I turned 30 last year, and last January, I said I wanted to do it by my 30th birthday, and it just didn't happen. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then this year I said, okay, I'm doing it by my birthday, which is in August. I started in March. I started writing some notes down and said, okay, I'll write a page a day. My goal was 90 pages. I didn't really do the page a day thing. I didn't follow through with it that well. And then I just took a bunch of my blog posts from 2+ years on two of my websites. It's a book on reputation management. I'm coining it as brand management, just because reputation management's already getting a bad name. But I just think that's the future of future online business. So I wanted to write a book by my birthday. I missed that date by just about 3 weeks. So I published my first book on Amazon September 5th of this year. And I'm telling everybody I speak to, I'm a published author. I have a book. I have a book on Amazon. I have a book on Amazon. I'm a published author. I'm telling everyone, and I don't know. I have 4 case studies included in the WSO just in the last 3 weeks of business opportunities, a JV opportunity. I sat with an MLM guy. I'm not into MLM. I won't even share my opinions on it. This guy's he's a legend in the MLM space. I got invited to his house here in Vegas. It was a $3 million, 12,000 square foot house, and his partner found me on LinkedIn, and it was because I had a book. That was why I got invited to this private mastermind. It was a few other people. It wasn't just myself. And then a couple other doors have opened up for me. At my business networking meeting, we meet once a month, and I told him a couple weeks ago, hey, I published my first book, and all of a sudden afterwards, people wanted to give me business cards and do business. It just really opened the doors by saying I had a book, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I don't have to cold call. I don't have to do direct mail. I don't have to do cold emails or LinkedIn or what. I mean, I'm still doing other things. I still do direct mail, but it was just really cool. It's such a confidence boost too. It's a huge confidence boost. I mean, I'll admit my head's probably a little bit too big, just because I got a book out. But I just really see the power. And like I said, it's only been out a month, and so I was like, I got to share it with the Warrior Forum, because that's the number one problem all offline marketers have is client acquisition. They have a lot of self doubt. I did too. There's still days I still have it. But like I said, writing the book was a big confidence booster, and it seems like people are taking me a lot more serious. That I have a physical book that I can hand them. And I just got the physical book. So, I mean, the first couple of weeks, it was just on Amazon. But I could just see a different tone talking with people that I had I was a published author, like this was, I mean, if you're talking to 2 or 3 SEO companies and you have a book, chances are they're going to go with you. You can charge a lot more money, too. I'm doubling all my pricing pretty much across the board. And I'm going to be very selective on who I work with. So yeah, it was a confidence booster, and then getting the clients. And like I said, it's only been out a month. I might have rushed it, but I just have seen some really good success in the month of September, and figured I better get this out to the market before anyone else does, because I'm not sure anyone's wrote a book or at least done a WSO on publishing a book for offline marketers.
Yeah, there's been it's quite an interesting what's the best way to describe it? It's an interesting strategy and tactic. The first time I'd seen it was Brendan Burchard did it in 2010, 2011. He wrote a book in about a month and a bit, and the whole marketing strategy behind it was phenomenal. What he did was he took a whole bunch of his guru mates, Jeff Johnson and Jeff Walker and a few others, took them to the Super Bowl. And that's a pretty nice junket. And
yeah. Oh yeah.
And apparently, from what I've been told, he sort of told me he had this book coming out, and that if they could promote the book on pre-release and basically it was the cost of shipping for this new book when it was released, and the back end to it was that they were getting pre-cookied. All their leads were getting pre-cookied for a launch that he had coming up a couple months after the book came out on how to become a product creation expert. And it was called Total Product Blueprint, I think. And I should know, I made a ton of money as an affiliate off it. I did really well for me personally, but
Okay.
but it was a very, very, and so what happened was his book on release was #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. So he immediately then ended up getting this sort of multi-million-dollar contract from a publishing company.
Oh, okay.
And now that's been emulated. Brad Gross did one, I think, not too long ago as well. He released a book and did the whole thing. But I've not seen it for offline marketers. I know there's a guru launch going on about that now, but it's not. Yeah, you just have to be careful with those guys, because if you're paying $2,000 to learn how to do something, you really want to be sure you're gonna take some action and learn something. So, what's the so your book, your WSO? It's what's the gist? Like, what are people going to learn from it?
The report is kind of the how and the why to write a book. I mean, the why I think is pretty.
It's self-explanatory, yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's just kind of points it out a little bit more of why, maybe kind of pounded in their head a little bit more.
Sure.
And then the how is kind of just kind of the outline of kind of writing a book. If you want to ghostwrite it, or if you want to hire a ghostwriter to do it, and then just kind of how to edit the book, how to format the book. I mean, I didn't buy any. I bought one piece of software on editing or formatting, I believe it was. I couldn't figure it out, and it was just it just made more sense for me to hire someone to do it for me. By the time I tried to learn the software, I mean, the time I was going to spend, and it wasn't. I think it was $50 to do it. It just wasn't worth my time to mess around with it. And then kind of how to promote the book. A couple things I did. I did a lot of videos, personal videos to local news stations, magazines, newspapers, editors. I didn't get the best response, not the response I was looking for, at least. I thought the videos would maybe stand out a little bit. I got people saying, "Oh, thanks, that's a really cool story." I mean, I guess I got something out of it. I was hoping, of course, for a feature in their magazine, the newspaper, website, something like that. But I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm still kind of doing it. People. Just last week, a guy got back with me, a big magazine out here, and just said, "Oh, that's a really cool story." I titled it. I'm really learning. Ever since kind of getting into the online marketing with emailing and that, I'm really learning the importance of headlines. And I'm not a copywriter by any means. I'm fascinated how copywriting works, so I'm trying to. I need to pick up some books to learn how to do it better. But I titled it "From City Center to Amazon." Just people in Vegas, of course, will know kind of what that kind of get them to open my email. And it seemed like people opened it, watched the video. Like I said, it didn't get the best response, at least not what I was hoping for. So yeah, kind of how I marketed it. And it certainly might work for some people, and I'm still trying. I'm still kind of knocking on different editors' so-called doors, email addresses. I just haven't struck up any type of concrete deal, but it did open up doors of communication, to kind of go back and forth. And they kind of know who I am, because I sent them a little 30-second video as opposed to just a press release.
Sure, yeah.
So I kind of just wanted to stand out, and I try to use video as much as possible. I just think that's a different way to stand out and get to know me maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's something that, now, if you're not using video in your marketing, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
So you have to. Do you talk about how you went and got the book physically published? Because it's quite interesting. I know a number of people who've written ebooks and things, and I said to somebody about a week ago I'd met for lunch here in Sydney and told me, oh, I wrote this ebook. And I said, that's awesome. Have you had it printed out and tried, taking it to the odd independent bookstore or anything like that? And he looked at me like I had three heads. He had no idea what I was talking about. So do you cover that and how you got it
No, I
physically done?
should. Yeah, because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people do. Do the ebook and then kind of maybe they get caught up with the Create Space or the physical book
So
part.
you used CreateSpace.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I learned it in the last 2.5, 3 weeks. It wasn't too terribly tough. I mean, I learned some things. Actually, I don't even have I have a proof copy sitting on my desk here. I have a shipment of quite a few books coming in actually tomorrow. It was a holiday today, so there was no mail, so it got pushed off a day. But yeah, maybe I should put a quick guide on Create Space because I'm gonna hold it's kind of an unannounced bonus. A Q&A session on a website called Spreecast. I'm really, really big on that. Actually, Gary Vaynerchuk pointed me out to it. It's very similar to Skype. I'm not sure if you're familiar. There's no software.
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I think you had made a comment in the Facebook group about it one day, or
Yeah.
commented on something that I had said. But I'm probably going to do a live Q&A the night of the webinar. I mean, I'm sorry, the night of the WSO, probably Thursday night. Just for Q&A. And as you know, when you launch a WSO, you just get hit with so many of the same questions, and it's just so much easier to sit down in front of the computer. And I did it for my first one, and people were really blown away by it, because I was on video. They could ask me questions on video live. And just like we've been talking, video is very powerful. I think it's kind of I like the webinar, but it's a one-way street kind of mostly. The Spreecast is really open. You can have a person jump on camera with you. You can see the chat box. Some of the webinar platforms, you can hide the chat box so you don't know what people are saying. Can dodge questions possibly. Spreecast, it's all open. And I've had some people ask some stupid questions. How much money do you make? Stuff like that. I mean, you'll deal with that. You just kind of say, hey, I'm not going to get into that. You should know better, but of course you're going to get a couple people like that that'll do that.
I launched. I had a good experience with that. I launched a WSO. No promotion or anything like that. It was our content business had done an heavily ultra spun article. And basically, these articles can do thousands and thousands of original, perfectly read pieces of content. We had them done by people with PhDs. Like, this is not,
Oh, wow.
not rubbish material. English writers, and so people in things like the gold market or the weight loss market, which were the two areas we did. They need a lot of original content when they want to do their SEO stuff, and so one of these seed articles, these things had. They were 25,000 plus words that when you spun them out, they created 550, 600 word articles and the 99.9% unique. It was really excellent thing. And we were selling them for, we had 100 copies and we were selling them for $17. And I had somebody buy one, and about 3 hours later, now of course he's gotten the thing because it's been digitally delivered to him, right?
Yes.
And he sends me back an email asking for a refund because he decided that 100 copies at $17 meant that we made $1,700 on this WSO, and he didn't think that was commensurate with the level of work we had done. And that to me just sort of sums people up in a nutshell, right? Like I think you're always gonna, and that's just a general business rule, right? You're always gonna find people who say the value of your work isn't what you think it is, but at the end of the day, if you have a piece of knowledge or a skill that somebody needs, there's always somebody willing to pay you what you want for it, always.
Yes. Yeah.
So I just want to touch on the book writing a little bit more. For anyone who doesn't know, I guess this is kind of a cool sort of side note, but November is in the U.S. is National Novel Writing Month. They challenge people to, it's more around fiction and things, but they challenge people to sit down and write a bunch of words every day. with the goal of having a 50,000 word book at the end of the month. And there's like a little competition, and Amazon are involved with it and stuff like that. So if you are interested in writing a book, it doesn't have to be about business or anything like that. If you're interested in, writing about aliens on another planet, or a love affair in a sugar field in 18th century Georgia, well, next month is National Novel Writing Month. Look it up on Google and help yourself. I think it's a noble thing to try and do, is write a book. I think it's a very difficult task. We have our company has 4 different books published on Amazon in a variety of topics. We have one on quilting. we have one on curing jet lag. We have a book on online dating for seniors, and we have a book on we have a fiction, a small mini novel on sort of fantasy fiction. So it's an interesting little. Selling it is actually, it's an interesting little business model. We probably wouldn't even pay for our petrol or gas for a month with what we earn, but it's have you sold a lot of your book?
Yeah, I haven't really sold, and I really don't. I checked that first week. I was logging in probably 73 times a day. Just seeing, okay, when's it gonna hit the 100? When's it gonna hit 500,000? And I think I'm at 11 sales. And that's not what I was going for. I could care less if it sold any copies. It's positioning myself. It's number 2 right now. Obviously, it doesn't get searched that often. Number 2 overall in for reputation management in Kindle, and also in the Amazon bookstore. And it's out of about just under 4,000 reputation management books, or at least reputation management somewhere in the titles. That pops up. I'm not saying there's 4,000 reputation management books, but so it pops up number 2 for both. So I'm proud of that. Obviously, there's not a lot of people looking for reputation management books, at least not yet.
But it's
sales. I'm not concerned about it. You can run if you do it on the KDP Select, you get 5 free. You get to run a promotion for 5 free downloads every 90 days. So I've gotten I think I've used 3 of my days so far, and I'm learning on how to do it, what days to do it, kind of just testing. And I think I've got a little over 400 downloads, which that counts as a sale in Amazon's algorithm. So that's kind of why the rankings are up. And then I have links in my book, not affiliate links, but a link to a landing page or a squeeze page to get their name and email. Because I'm just using it basically for lead generating, and try to build up a list. So every download certainly helps. So
and have you had...
I thought I'd have more than, like I said, I think last I checked I had 8 sales, 8 or 9. I might have 10 or 12 now. I thought I'd have more than that by now. But that really wasn't the agenda. I wasn't looking to be the next 50 Shades of Grey or the next Stephen King. I was looking to position myself as the authority. And if I get a couple book sales, I'm donating it to a local charity here. Hopefully I can start making a couple $100 so I can donate it to a local charity I'm involved in. Any money that I get from the book.
What's the name of the charity?
Project 151. I just kind of connected with the guy that runs the charity through LinkedIn back in August, I think it was, and it was about it was really sad. It's about kids here in Vegas that are homeless, like kids in high school. There's 7,000 kids in this city that are homeless, that are 18 and under. It blew my mind. I would have guessed maybe 100, and when I heard 7,000. Some of these kids just live in the wood. It's crazy. They live in a tent, and they live underground here. There's some sewage drains that a lot of the homeless people live in, but just don't shower for weeks. And it was just really, really sad. And I reached out to them and said, what can I do to help? Volunteer, donating money. That's just horrible for kids. Just kind of tugged on my heartstrings. I said, man, whatever I can do to help. So it actually they just got started in just January of this year, so it's really new. They weren't planning on it. The guys that started it are born and raised here in Las Vegas, so it really hit home with them, being local. And so I've just met with them twice so far. They meet like once a month, and kind of go over things, dropping off backpacks and clothes, money, food, stuff like that at the different schools. Um, so yeah, that's I really want to get into the charity part of it, and that's why I like uh, being the business owner. Donating. I try to donate 10% of my money. I don't make that every month, but that's my goal. 10% is to donate to charity. I'd love to get to 15%. When I'm more comfortable, I'll definitely be doing 15% because that's a big part of why, to make more money, to help out as much as possible for the less fortunate.
So does Project 151 have a website or anything?
Yeah, I think it's project151lv.com. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's really just really sad story, like I said.
No, I can't find it.
Let's see. Because there's another Project 151. I don't think it's a charity.
Well, here's what we can do. If you after we record this, you can get me the link and I'll put it in the show notes because I think you know, anything anyone listening can do to sort of help a cause like that, where you're sort of helping get kids off the street, is a huge bonus. It's a win. So you'll send us the link and we'll throw it up on the page for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I don't have the name right, so much. I'm trying to pull it up now. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out and send it through to us. So I guess I guess it's going to be an interesting launch. It'll be interesting to see if people see, becoming a published author or whatever is a valuable thing. I think it is. Look, I think there's nothing, if you are targeting local small business in your area, you know, what does the printed book cost you? Maybe $20 or less. To be able to walk into a local real estate agent or somewhere like that where you're trying to generate new business, $20 in lead gen is a pretty cheap way of doing it. So being able to drop off a book here or there, and or you can put it in a different place in your pre-sales funnel. So, somebody's opted into your site, you've given them something, you've made contact, they're not ready to buy yet. Well, maybe you send them a book and get them over the hill.
Yeah.
There's a ton of ways you can use a physical item like a book to reinforce yourself as an expert. I had a political science professor in university, who his comment was, you're not an expert until you write a book on the topic. And I think now, obviously that was a long, long time ago, pre-Amazon, but still, it's still valuable. People take the written, published word as almost gospel.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, I thought when I had the ebook, I just didn't think. I mean, that's still strong to have a book, but yeah, I wanted something, something physical, and yeah, just ordered. I think I pay two. I think it's like $2.35 a book, and then with the shipping, it's right. I think it's right around. It works out to $3 a book.
That's ridiculous. That is
With
like
shipping.
you just think
Yeah,
about it. It's
so
just a ridiculous thing. If you spent $500, you could pretty much carpet bomb every business in the area
yep,
with a
yep.
physical copy of your book.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. That's what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on testing maybe some direct mail with some people I've already sent letters to. Not many, but yeah, mainly walking in. and handing the book, business card. I don't know, maybe something else, but yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. That's going to be the business card. The charity's Project 150. The 51's the baseball team out here, Area 51. So I get 51 and the 50 mixed up. So it's Project 150 uh, is the charity.
Okay. Well, we'll get that up on the site
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah, okay.
The other one, that's interesting with the book is the ability to actually use that as your foot in the door on anything else. I mean, if you want to do public speaking, there's nothing like sending an organizer of an event, here's my book. It's a great way to get your foot in the door for speaking, and old school. One of the best ways to build a business is to become a public speaker, because once you're on stage and you have the microphone in your hand, again, it's like the book, you're an authority. So it's really interesting. So you're excited, and you've got you have an upsell for this as well?
Yeah, I have like my yeah, actually I have a goal to I'm hoping to land. I've never done public speaking. I'm not a huge fan of it. I've done like the talent shows, back in high school. Loved being on stage. I know this is a little bit different. But yeah, I'm hoping to do 3 speaking gigs by the end of the year. And I'll set up the first 3, and I might only get 5 people, but that's how I got to start. I don't want to go speak in front of 100 people and for my first one, and slowly build up. But that's a goal of mine, is to do the public speaking. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but yeah, like you said, that's what better way to establish yourself as the person to go to with a book in your hand, standing on stage talking to small business owners. I mean, you might not like it, but you get past that fear, and you probably will never have to cold call again, because you'll be getting referral business. And then down the line, you can get paid for the speaking gigs and that too. But yeah, the special offers, kind of my cheat sheet of everybody I used. Let's see, I got it right here. I had a ghostwriting team. It was all my content, but it didn't flow. So I hired a ghostwriting team to kind of make it flow like a book. I mean, it was blog posts over the years, and some other things I just kind of had written as unpublished blog posts. So my ghostwriting team, the person that formatted my book, the person that edited my book, I did one of those whiteboard animation videos on like a landing page, and gave away the first chapter of my book for free beforehand to kind of create some buzz. And then, of course, Internet Marketing 101, of course, build the list. I got a lot of compliments on the video. The company I use for press release, for all my press releases. And then a webinar I'm going to do of like some more advanced training, more details on some of my case studies. I actually just got an email this afternoon. I might have a really good connection down on the Strip. I'll just say a venue that just recently opened up on the Strip, and they spent a lot of money, putting it together, and they are not. They're getting some social media backlash, and it's spreading like wildfire, and they want to know how to fix it yesterday. And I met with a lady last week, and she knows the owner. We were talking, and she said, "What would you do for these people?" And I said, "Oh, I'd have to think about it. It was a pretty huge thing." So I kind of wrote out some ideas and a really rough draft of the plan. And she finally got back to me today and was really impressed and said, "Hey, can I forward this on to the powers to be?" And I said, "Absolutely." And that there's no doubt in my mind that was because of the book. It wasn't my charming personality. So that was kind of another case study. So the webinar is going to be more advanced training, and I'm also going to do a challenge. I did it on my first WSO, playing off with my last name, Dukes. I'm going to do like a Put Up Your Dukes challenge. Whoever can publish their first book, get it up on Amazon published. I'm trying to figure out a prize, probably something
You
I don't
have
know.
some pretty awesome prizes, I have to say. For your joint venture partners, my favorite one has to be the Saved by the Bell complete collection,
Yeah, I think that's a great one too.
because you can never, ever, ever get enough Screech.
I agree. It was a great show when I was growing up in high school and or middle school probably.
And it was
Yeah, everybody
before,
loves that
yeah,
show, I thought of that a long time ago, and it's always just
it's like a time machine, that show. I mean, it was before Tiffany
exact.
Amber Thiessen had her work done. It was just a great
Yes, it
show.
was. Yeah, I was a big Kelly Kapowski fan, and yeah, the Superman Snuggie.
Oh,
Uh, that's
just class. You'll have no trouble coming up with prizes for people who take part in the Put Up Your Dukes contest for this one. So I guess we've talked now for about an hour. I'm going to give away a cool tip. One of the things that we were talking about marketing and stuff with your book and selling and things. And one of the things that you can really do, and we try and give people the odd tip here and there, is you can organize, get one of the local papers, one of the community local papers, and organize an event in your local area talking about whatever your topic is. In your case, it could be something like reputation management,
Mhm.
and you put it out and you rent a room. Usually sort of community center rooms are a couple $100 for a few hours in an evening, and you invite everybody to come for free to talk where you're going to talk about event management. Now you got to get them to sign a waiver. And that's okay, but you film it. You film the presentation. Now, what you have now is you have a room full of people. If you can get them to pay, that's awesome. But generally, you want a room full with people. So
Yes.
free is an attraction. Uh, you got video of the event, so now you can sell or promote the video, give it away, further promoting yourself as the expert. And
Yep.
then at the back of the room, after the event's over, sell the book. So have, if you've got 50 people coming, have, 40 copies of the book out the back, because you never want to have 50. Even if everybody bought, you want to have a bit of a wait. Sorry, I've sold out.
Yes.
But now you can recover the cost of running the event with the back of the room sales, but at the same time you're going to have video footage, and you're big into video, so you'll be able to find 1,000 ways to use that video to your advantage, and further enhance your reputation in whatever it is you do. So it's very, very easy, and trust me when I tell you this, it's very, very easy as listeners to get 25 people in a room. It is really, really easy. And the other thing is that if you're talking on a topic that is of interest to local business owners, be it lead generation or, referral management or, post-sale follow-up and all that sort of stuff. These are issues that resonate with every single business owner. Every single business owner knows they should be able to make more money off their existing customers through referrals. They just don't know how, or they don't have a system. So if you can speak for an hour or two and give them some really great content and tell them how to do it, the first thing they're going to do, out of a room of 50 people, 5 of them it's going to resonate with inevitably, and they're going to come up to you and say, hey, how can you help me do this? So now you've got 5 leads, you're selling the book out the back, you've
Yep.
got the video. So never underestimate the power of organizing your own events. It's very, very the challenge is confidence. You just have to say, okay, I can do this, and take the risk. And the risk might be a $300 ad in a newspaper in a $200 room. And you know what? If you don't get anyone signing up to go, well, then just cancel the room. You're out $300. So that's the tip on that, is you can create your own events, and then you get really great content out of it on video, and you can recover your costs through lead generation and sales out the back. All
Yeah,
right.
that's something that I appreciate that. So about the waiver, so if
Yeah.
you videotape it, you have to do the waiver.
Yeah, absolutely, because people may
Okay.
appear on camera accidentally, and you just want to cover your backside with the waiver,
Yep.
just to say,
Yep.
look, the other thing that you need to do, sorry, I probably should have not have glossed over this, but you're probably going to want event insurance. Now, for a 2 or 3 hour event, it's not that much. It might cost you $50 to $100, but you want event insurance. There's well, Brendan Burchard is a guy who tells a story about how he did a huge event. It was, first when he started his business, and on the bump in, so where they set up the show, the stage, and that, one of the workers threw her back out and sued him,
Okay.
and he went bankrupt because he didn't have insurance. So if you do events, you need to have event insurance. Very, very easy to get. It's not very difficult. If you have an accountant or a lawyer, and if you're in business, you should have an accountant and a lawyer. Go ask them about a local insurance broker or whatever. You just want some, 2-3 hour event insurance. Sometimes the facility where you're doing the event will be pre-insured, so as part of you renting the room, they'll have insurance that covers you.
Okay.
But you have to
Yep.
ask. So you just make sure you do that, because otherwise a small little video gathering could turn into $100,000 nightmare really
Okay.
quite quickly.
Oh,
But
I didn't know. God, I didn't know you did that, and I'm going to be looking into doing that real soon. I really appreciate that. That'd be that insurance thing. Oh, that's
yeah,
yeah. You never know. Yeah, like you said, a little get together could turn into business shutting down and you being in some big trouble.
absolutely, and especially depending on in Australia, it's not so difficult for us. We really have a very simple kind of company structure, but in the U.S. it can get a little bit complicated. I mean, in Nevada you have it pretty easy as well, but oftentimes, depending on S types and C types or whatever you guys call them, LLCs and all kinds of things, sometimes you can have a company and still you end up being personally responsible. Whereas, here in Australia and the UK, generally speaking, if you set up a business, the business will take the fall. But I definitely know people in the US who, run as sort of a quasi personal business and end up, wearing some of the liability personally to save money on tax or whatever. And
Yes.
to me just sounds ridiculous. But anyway, get a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. Good general advice is make sure your business and your financial structure of your company is set up correctly to start with. But a 5-minute phone call to your advisors about insurance never goes astray.
Yeah. No. Okay. That's very good to know. I'm meeting with my attorney in the morning, actually.
There you go. Just ask him. Just say, hey, man,
Yeah.
what about event
Absolutely.
insurance? And in Vegas, you guys would have like more probably insurers doing that with all the
Yeah. Yes.
crazy Cirque du Soleil. Everywhere you go in Vegas, it's Cirque du Soleil. So,
Yes. Yep. Yep.
all right. Well, look, so your people who are interested in offline overnight authority can go to wsobackstage.com/OOA and click on that, and they can get to your sales page and you can hook them up. What's the starting price going to be? Dime sale? What's the?
I'm just doing 990 just on the front end, and no dime sale or anything, and then $27 on the special offer, and then a down sale of 990 for the webinar, the more advanced. Same webinar as the special offer. It's just
They just get
without
less
my
stuff.
cheat sheet
Yeah.
for the down sale at 990.
Awesome. So again, wsobackstage.com/OOA. Just like to, I guess, wrap it up and say thanks, Adam, for taking an hour. This was probably a little longer than we had originally anticipated, but I appreciate the time, and I hope everybody goes out and picks it up and learns how to write a book and use it to market their business, because it is a great idea, and I think they can learn something.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. What I was telling people is, and my dad kind of brought it up to me along when I got a college degree. He was saying, yeah, I mean, you're going to take that to that's something no one can ever take away from you. You got a college degree. I was the first one in the family to get one. and look at a few years later, I'm not even using it. But same with being a published author. I mean, once you publish one book, you're a published. I mean, that's a legacy. You can tell the grandkids that in 30, 40 years, you know, like, hey, I wrote a book, or you might write 20 books. I just think that's really cool to say. You know, once you do it once, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a pain. It can be a pain, I should say, to do it. It's stressful, but man, it just feels so cool to say it. And I mean, I got it right on my business card. I got the Amazon. I mean, it's a pretty link, but I got it right on my business card. It says my book, you know, and there's the URL to it. But I just think it's cool that something you take to the grave with you. You know, you're a published author. I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely also a conversation starter. I mean, if you have a
Yes.
couple of
Yep.
copies kicking around the house and somebody comes over and sees your name on the spine of a book, they're going to go like, "Whoa, what's that all about?"
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's
Absolutely.
it's a neat
Yep.
thing to do and have. But in terms of generating new business and you know, being the authority, we talk about it a lot on this show, but I talk about it a lot generally in what I do online is the whole world is moving to authority because there's so many people out there talking and selling things that really just generally don't know what they're talking about. So to be trusted, you have to become an authority. You have to be seen as such. So publishing a book is one of the great ways to become an authority.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
All right, Adam. Thank you again for your time, and I hope the WSO sells like crazy.
Hey, thanks a lot for this, Sean. I really do appreciate you taking the time and sitting down and setting this up. I will have to check out. I'll have to check out this WSO backstage. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But really, really appreciate it, man. Really grateful that you reached out and or I forgot how we reached out, but I appreciate you taking the time and setting this all up and putting it on your site and iTunes and that. That's very, very cool and really, really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Adam. Talk to you later.
All right, sounds good, Sean.
Well, that's it for another episode of WSO Backstage. Thanks for listening. The ideas and viewpoints expressed in this show are those of our guests and not of those of Sean Kay, WSO Backstage or Casual Gamer Proprietary Limited. Any financial projections or statements made are used as examples for education and entertainment purposes only, may not apply to your situation.